launch.
And we've got a good flyer.
Roger.
Stay the heading.
An AQM-37C extended performance target will be engaged by a Standard missile at the White Sands Missile Range. Control and evaluation of the target engagement will be coordinated by a combination of range and project resources, including communications, displays, radars, telemetry, computer systems, meteorological support and flight safety, as well as aircraft and target controllers and the pilot. This video describes for the most difficult operation supported by the AQM-37C EP, a Mach 4 at 100,000-foot altitude presentation, how these elements will work together to provide a safe and successful operation. The target launch aircraft, an F-4N, will stage out of the Naval Air Weapons Center, Point Mugu, California, with an AQM-37C target that's been completely checked out. The aircraft will fly to Kirtland Air Force Base, Albuquerque, New Mexico, for refueling and final missile preparation. About 50 minutes before the scheduled launch of the Standard missile, the aircraft will depart Albuquerque and head north. At 39,000 feet, the pilot will power up the AQM target and loiter until communications, control, safety, and telemetry checks are completed. Clearance is obtained and control handed over from the Albuquerque FAA to the White Sands Missile Range about 15 minutes before the AQM is to be launched. The aircraft continues north toward the Colorado border and, at about 270 miles from the desert ship, turns south to begin its acceleration run-in and climb to the launch point. The aircraft will remain under the jurisdiction of the FAA regional facility at Albuquerque, which will monitor its radio frequency and track the aircraft's position by means of a beacon altimeter installed in the AQM target. The aircraft also carries a transponder for range radars to track. Target position will be provided both to the Range Control Center and to the Fire Control System at the desert ship via the normal network of range radars and the Precision Acquisition System. Because of the extended ranges involved, an additional radar site has been installed 5 miles south of the Albuquerque airport. This radar can acquire and track the aircraft's transponder even as the plane taxis for takeoff. The radar will provide early vectoring inputs and acquisition data for the radars located farther south, thus eliminating any problems in coverage caused by the Earth's curvature or interference from mountainous terrain. At the Range Control Center, radar data is processed and displayed in the Operations Display Facility on monitors used by the aircraft controller, by the target controller, target evaluator, and target coordinator, and by flight safety. To ensure reliable communications with the aircraft, a UHF radio transmitter receiver has been installed at the radar site south of the Albuquerque airport. This is in addition to the North Range UHF radio located at Red Butte. Radio signals, command and control information, and radar data will be relayed between the range and the radar site over leased lines and by range microwave equipment. The target coordinator is responsible for getting the aircraft with its AQM target from Point Mugu to Albuquerque, getting it refueled, and then on station at 39,000 feet. He is supported by a ground crew at Kirtland and a representative at the FAA facility. During the inbound run, the range aircraft controller vectors the aircraft to the correct launch point within the approved launch box.
42, Charlie Control, right 174.
The exact launch point will be established by evaluating wind data provided by meteorological balloons released from Albuquerque Airport and Stallion Site 6 hours before launch. Normally, F-4N pilots are able to achieve a desired altitude, plus or minus 500 feet, and a desired speed, plus or minus Mach 0.01, based on their instruments. At the launch point, the pilot will have reached an altitude of 50,000 feet mean sea level with a tolerance of plus 1,000 and minus 3,000 feet, and a speed of Mach 1.5, plus 0.2, and minus 0.01 Mach. And the pilot will have maintained a wings level, stable heading prior to release of the AQM target. Here are the limits of the launch point location expressed in latitude and longitude. They've been established by flight safety to consider not only possible missile and target debris footprints, but also requirements for the missile target intercept. The target controller will vector the pilot to a specific heading within the longitude limits and give the launch command when the aircraft crosses the 35-degree latitude mark. The launch longitude is established in relation to a fixed 37,000-foot wide intercept window. The target launch bearing to the center of this window is adjusted so that if the target is destroyed, the cumulative effects of winds from 100,000 feet down to the surface will not carry any debris to populated areas south of the launch point and which lie east and west of the 4-mile-wide flight corridor. Extreme wind conditions at the time of launch could postpone the operation, but the probability of this happening is very remote.
15 seconds, right to 174. 10 seconds. 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, launch. Cleared for immediate right turn, descend to flight level 420. And we've got a good flyer. Roger.
After releasing the AQM target, the launch aircraft immediately turns west and returns to Albuquerque. Control of the operation now shifts from the aircraft controller to the target controller, who monitors the position of the AQM target and makes any necessary heading changes as the AQM climbs from 50,000 to 80,000 feet. Above 80,000 feet, during the transition from climb to cruise mode, heading changes are avoided because of the risk of fuel unporting. As the target accelerates and climbs to altitude, the target evaluator monitors its altitude and speed versus time to determine if the target presentation will be acceptable for standard missile engagement.
Target plot looks good.
The operations display facility provides a plot of the actual target altitude and speed versus time, superimposed on nominal plots with tolerance limits that are a combination of aircraft launch position tolerance added to AQM-37C 3 sigma engine performance. The lower tolerance reflects a lowest, slowest acceptable F4 launch condition with a minus 5% AQM engine performance. The higher tolerance reflects a highest, fastest acceptable F4 launch condition with a plus 5% AQM performance. These limits have been selected to ensure that the target will have a high probability of meeting the desired intercept conditions. If the presentation is not acceptable, the SM-2 countdown at the desert ship is stopped before it reaches T-minus 18 seconds, so the missile's one-shot batteries won't be expended. Should the target's speed or altitude exceed acceptable limits after T-minus 18, the target evaluator can still call a hold up to the time the booster battery is energized at T-minus 2 seconds.
Hold, velocity out of spec.
A real-time, three-dimensional telemetry-derived display in the Range Control Center shows target attitude. Target position and event information, such as booster cutoff, are shown on digital displays. Booster cutoff should occur at launch plus 78 seconds, plus or minus 1 second for the Mach 4 100,000-foot altitude scenario. Evaluation reports are given to the desert ship over the project network at T-minus 23 and T-minus 5 seconds.
Target is green for ITL.
With a green report on the AQM target, the test conductor releases the standard missile. After the SM-2 missile is launched, assuming nominal operations, The only control exercised over the AQM target will be by flight safety. They will transmit a destruct command 5 seconds after intercept, or in the event there is loss of track or target maneuvers that could result in an unacceptable impact prediction. Within 15 minutes after impact, a range helicopter is vectored to the impact site. Range and project personnel inspect the debris and perform environmental, explosive safety, photo documentation, and recovery operations.